Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy New Year. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen most of you since the New Year, since the calendar flipped over. I believe it's Happy National Peanut Brittle Day, Green Juice Day, Spouses Day. If you got one, happy all those days. And welcome to the next episode, the first episode of 2023 of the Pixelmo webinar series. And today's offering of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hidden Microsoft 365 gems. We're going to help you unlock the true value of your Microsoft 365 license. As always, everyone, my name is Michael Wells. I am the newly appointed customer success manager here at Pixelmill, and still won in a lottery, bald guy with a beard. Always happy to be here with you guys. Always happy to see you on the last Thursday of every month. Good to see you guys in the new year. Depending on where you are in the world, it's been a pretty exciting new year so far, and we're only 26 days in. So happy that you guys are spending a little bit of time with us today. Great to have you here. Want to jump through the agenda real quick, then we'll make sure we get to the session. We got a lot of information we want to get to you guys today, so I'll try to get this as quickly as possible. So first, we'll start off with some introductions and do a little housekeeping. Then we'll jump into the main part of the session, apps for excellence. We'll talk about automations and hidden features. There's going to be a whole bunch of demos. I hope you brought your popcorn. We're going to have lots of demos. And then, of course, as always, we save time at the end for questions and answer time. Make sure that you guys have if you have the opportunity to ask those questions. So first and foremost, a little housekeeping. As I mentioned, questions. If you have questions, please throw them on up. There should be a questions tab and a chat tab. Mostly the questions tab is where you're going to want to focus on. If you were on the browser version, it should be a chat bubble with a question mark. Throw your questions on up in there. If you're on the desktop app version of GoToWebinar, there's going to be a little pop-out, little questions pop out, push questions in there. I'll be following along all throughout the session. I will do my best to get them in I shouldn't say on time, in the moment and as quickly as I can. If we're not able to get to a question right in that moment, again, we do leave that Q&A time at the end to make sure we have the opportunity to answer your question, but we will get those answered today. There is going to be a handout as well toward the end of the session. Oh, if you'll jump back to the previous slide, I'm almost done with the housekeeping, sorry. There is going to be a handout at the end that will hand off to you guys. I'll make sure to get that up. That'll be in the handout section. And then this session is recorded, so we will be getting that out to you guys next week. Once we get everything going, get it all wrapped up, edited up, all that fun stuff, we'll send it off to you, get you that replay of this. And then there will be a little survey at the end as well, that we hope you guys can fill out. We'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, so stay tuned for more about that. All right, and then I want to talk about some exciting stuff that's happened for Pixelmill in the last year. Let's see, I guess it'd be a year in April. We joined forces with the amazing people at CryoSpark to make one amazing batch of humans who are still running wild all over the Microsoft universe, but we now do it with a much larger family. So we're still the same group. We're still a group of people who are Microsoft 365 implementation experts. We still have that same passion for technology. We still want to, change the digital workspace world. We just have a bigger team to do it. So now we've got our offices in Davis, California. We've got our offices in Toronto, Canada, and our sister companies are working together to change the entire digital workspace world. So that's been the exciting stuff going on with us. Please check out everything that's going on with both Pixelmill and CryoSpark. It's been such a fun time getting to make some new friends, gain some new family, and learn a lot of new stuff along the way. So that's just some exciting stuff that's been going on with us. But with that, let's get to the main part of our session today. I've been talking on for long enough. Our speaker today, he's very familiar to our webinar family. He's done 85% of our sessions, and we always love having him back. He's our Chief Product Officer. He's a co-founder of Pixelmill. He's a Microsoft MVP and Regional Director. He's got shiny things in his background. He is Eric Overfield. How's it going today, boss?
Good. Everyone can hear me just fine?
Yeah, you look and sound great.
Excellent. Audio's coming in. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. For those of you I haven't had the opportunity to meet, I'm Chief Product Officer at Pixelmill CryoSpark. I was a co-founder of Pixelmill, as Michael said, and I love being in the community, love doing this stuff, love these type of presentations. They're so much fun to prep for. They're so much fun to be able to contribute. In fact, so this is today, it was kind of the end of January 2023 for those of you who are on the recording. And this morning, not a couple hours ago, Christian Buckley, who hosts Collab Talk on Twitter for many years now, his was around the community. And the first question is, how has the community impacted your life? And I wouldn't be where I'm at without the community. And part of community to me is about contributing as much as it is about taking for the community. I love doing these things. So thank you all very much for joining us. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to showing off the tips and tricks that we use day in, day out over here at digital transformation, we're able to be successful for all of you, for our clients and the projects that we work on. But with that, what we always like to do is we like to have a poll. So, Michael, I'm going to quickly send this back to you. Pop up that poll,
Yeah.
please.
Absolutely. Well, as Eric said, we like to start off with a little fun, just an opportunity to connect with you guys, see how you're feeling, kind of see if we're hitting the mark with what we're talking about. So let me launch this poll really quick. Here we go. You should see it on your screen. Which applications do you have the least experience with? Teams, SharePoint, Power Apps, Power Automate, or Microsoft Viva?
And of course, this is all anonymous, and we will share the results with you right away. So, please do participate. It's for fun, but it's also not for fun. I mean, we want to know, and also it helps me look to tailor this this conversation to you. We do our best here to make sure that there's a lot of value for you being with us live. As Michael said, the resources that we give out, that's given to our live audience first. Now, the slide I have for resources is blank, but we're going to get you those resources quicker for those of you that have who've joined us here. So.
Exactly. And I'm seeing these results coming in. Thank you, everyone, for getting your votes up in there. 94% vote. That might be the highest percentage we've ever had of people actually do one of the polls. That's great. All right, I'm going to give you guys about 10 more seconds to get your votes in. I will say, personally, I'm not super surprised at the results, but I do. I do. The breakdown's pretty great. We're up to 97%. I love it. And all right, last chance to get your votes in, guys. Give you just a couple more seconds to get those in. Thank you so much to everyone who's been throwing your votes in there. And we're going to go ahead and close this one down. And then let me share the results with you guys. I think you'll enjoy what you're seeing. So 53% said they have the least amount of experience with Viva. Makes the most sense. It is the newest piece of the puzzle. Makes total sense there. 24% Power Automate, 21% Power Apps.
Now, Speaker Coach itself is
so. Where did you come from? I'm just kidding. And then 0% of you said Teams. That's good to hear, as Teams is has obviously took over the world a couple of years ago and has been rolling throughout that. So yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your
Thank you all
thoughts
so
on that.
much. And yeah, don't worry. The couple of you that said SharePoint, oh yeah, no, I'm here for you as well. So don't worry. That's really cool, because one of my first tips is actually going to be a piece on Viva. It's going to be one that we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun. So great. Glad to have you all here. 97% rate, and this is just looking at the attendee list. This is one of our most attended yet in the last couple of months. So big group of people. Thank you for all being in the audience. It's awesome. Okay, next step for me is always, why are you here? Like, what's the point? What are we going to do over the next 40, 50 odd minutes? And this still comes down to something I've been talking about for months now. It's around productivity paranoia. Now, so those of you who've been listening to us or talked to us, you know we've been talking about this since, well, for me, when I learned about this term, productivity paranoia, it was Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. He was in a recorded event in London at the middle, near the end of 2022. And it still comes back to this idea, and I'll go actually into more productivity paranoia in my next slide, but it's about this idea that when you talk to managers and you talk to employees say in general, they're 87% say that they're productive in the workday. Yet the exact opposite, the exact flip side of that, only 12% of managers are saying that they think their team is productive. And that's a productivity paranoia. There's a disconnect there. And when it comes down to it, it's you believe that you're productive, and I believe you're productive too, but often visibility is not just what reality is. Like you need more than it sometimes. And where it comes down to me is perception is often reality, and it just is what it is. So the point of this conversation, what my big value here is, I want to go through some of the gems that I and my team have found in M365 and the related tool set, primarily around Power Automate and Power Apps, that we use day in, day out, that I use day in, day out to help myself to be successful, our teams to be successful, and our jobs with our clients to be more productive, improves the visibility with what we're doing, and generally utilize these tools that we're paying for. I mean, almost can turn on a live, I believe most of you already have licenses for most of the stuff I'm talking about, except the first one I'm going to talk about is going to be a little extra license, and there's a Power BI one where, yeah, you get some for free, but you really need some more stuff, or most of you will, or some of the managers who need that data will. I get all of that. So that's the whole point, is still hammering on this productivity paranoia. So then it comes down to, like, okay, what is productivity paranoia? What is that? And here's what this is. When we shifted to remote work in the last couple of years, a lot of us did, and I know a lot of us are coming back into the office, but there's still that hybrid component. it means there's less visibility in what all of us are doing for the rest of the people in the organization, in particular, a lot of the times management, leadership, the people that we report to. And there's more trust required. Okay. Well, it used to be managers and whatnot, they'd walk the floor, the floor. They were able to rely on the words that they would have and the output. As we hear, I would love to have been able to click into this report. And this is hard. And this is changing expectations and the behavior on how we are understanding what it is that we're all doing and measuring the output. So nowadays, and because of that, it's hard to measure productivity. We believe we're doing our job, but our managers don't necessarily see the output that they were expecting or that they had, and they didn't have that conversation as easily. So it's just more of a challenge. And most tools, most tasks, they don't produce immediate results. It takes time to build that I want to say TPS report, but that's just a nasty word. It takes time to build and deliver the solution that we have. And so what I want to do is look at some hidden gems, some things that will help you be more productive, but sometimes and often to actually be able to visibly show that productivity, which is, I'm going to make a plug right now for the next session. So next month, February 2023, we're looking to have a sit down with leadership and employees within our org. And we want to talk about what we're seeing and how we are dealing with the disconnect and how we've been uncovering ways, because we are a remote organization. We're cross borders. We're in 3 different time zones. I know a lot of you have even more time zones, but we don't get to see each other very much. And so how is it that we are struggling to handle this? And struggle, I don't think is the right word, because I think we're being pretty successful with it. But we want to share that with you directly from us in more of like a panel kind of format. So I look forward to you joining us then. Okay, so moving on. Here's how I wanted to do this. I've got 10 ideas. I want 10 different things I want to show you. And I have 2 general buckets. One is, I call it apps for excellence. So I want to look at 5 apps. Some of them you're already using, but I want to also look at them in a different way. And I have a couple of demos there as well. And then I also want to look at some automation and other tips. So some automation that I found to be very successful to help myself be more productive, or my team uses to be more productive, as well as other just general tips within applications that you may already be using. And the way I've broken that down, though, is on each of these 10 different ideas, 10 different concepts, 10 different tips, I've got these different icons that I'm going to use to represent how I think this can help. And what that comes down to is short for Outlook. It's for Outlook. Improving your meetings, saving money. Always like saving money. Doing more with less. That's the new big buzzword right now. We're all seeing it in the 2023 economy. And employee experience. Now, I don't expect you to memorize weird threads, and just so I will also say them out as we get to each of these different tips. But those of you who are going to get the slide deck, or you're going to look at the recording, you always have this slide to come back to if you're ever looking to know, like, what was I thinking? I love it. So I want to get into these tips because I don't know how much time I'm really going to have here. So I said we're going to start out with the apps for excellence. Now, my first one I said was going to be Viva. Now, this is around productivity. This is around visibility. So it's also around the idea of employee experience and improved meetings. That's the 2 icons that I have here. So Viva Insights. This is an interesting one. Viva Insights, there's 2 basic components around it. There's the free version for personal that you can have. They're actually, Microsoft's publicly talking about a Viva Personal Premium, or Plus, what I just blanked on the word for it. But then also there's the Viva Insights for managers that does cost more than probably a lot of you are already paying. Most of you have the E3s, the E5s, maybe the E1s, the Fs, the Gs. You'll have the M65 or O65 licenses, but most of you have Viva Insights. If you have teams, you have Viva Insights Personal. But for managers, there's an interesting piece here. Many of you may not be managers, no worries. This might be something that you want to help promote to your managers so that they can get some of the visibility into what their teams are doing, and to help them understand just how many meetings you're in and how to make meetings more productive, how many hours you're working outside of normal work hours, how much focus time you get. Like, these are important things that leadership should know about what you're doing, or that you want to know about your team if you are a leader or manager. And so what does that all mean? Well, the idea of Viva Insights for managers is to help leadership management monitor them. Love that. Track their productivity, no. Viva Insights is not looking to jeopardize any privacy here. They're very well aware that that's creepy, that's kind of weird. So it's designed to help managers and leadership understand how their team is working, but not like specifically, oh, okay, well, Eric sent out 3 emails yesterday and was involved in two chat messages. Like, no, that's not what it's looking to do. It's looking to provide more like behavioral insights into how people are working and their general well-being. You know, it's trying to help look for employee engagement, efficiency, general culture, how people are doing, organizational resiliency, things like that. There's also a best practices feature though, which is available to really everybody, and it's Viva Insights offering the guidance on how to create a better community within the organization and the actions to be taking to keep everybody aligned to increase the productivity and prevent that employee burnout that a lot of us are seeing. The remote hybrid work kind of turned us into working 10, 12-hour days, which has got its pluses and minuses. I mean, I've got 2 young kids. My wife works at home as well. It's hard for me to work, say, 8 to 5. Sometimes I need to take an hour or 2 off. So now I'm working from 7 till 8. Okay, that's fine, but you know, it can be hard sometimes for people to understand, well, why was I out for 3 hours in the middle of the day? Well, no, I'm making up for it. You can see, but you can also see, well, can I be working 12, helping you build 5 days a week? And would my leader then, or my manager, want to look at that and understand, well, hey, look, a lot of your team is working in ways that may not be really productive in the way that we want. So some really cool stuff. We have some extra resources that you can learn more on this, but I actually want to kind of get into a demo because I think a lot of you might not have yet been able to see what Viva Insights for Managers look like. So what I've got on my screen now, hopefully it will come out here shortly, is obviously just Teams. This is a CDX environment. If you are a Microsoft partner, you can easily create these free demo tenants. They're wonderful for things like this. They're pre-populated with content. Love them. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Viva Insights, which is, it's nice. It's just one tool for both employees, leaders, and managers. And as soon as that loads up, most of you, or many of you probably have already seen it, but what we have are the kind of general employee, everyone has personal insights, but then you also have this managers or management and leadership would have 2 different tabs. Here's just the teamwork management tab. Inspiration library is actually also cool as well. I love to see what Microsoft's trying to do here, trying to help us all be more productive and be visible with what we're doing. I'm going to click on the Teamworks tab, and I purposely left this blank. This is what would happen for your managers if they haven't set things up. But basically, we have to create a team. What I'm able to show here so easily is the sample insights. So these are the kind of insights that managers or team leaders are going to see, where they help understand your one-on-one time with the team that you're at, who your team generally is, looking at, say, you know, like a no meeting day, which those are becoming more and more popular and necessary. A lot of people, a lot of organizations I see are working on the no meeting Fridays, and our organization is looking to do a no meeting Friday, only one Friday a month. It's hard. We're trying. I mean, I understand a lot of these things are easy to explain, but they're hard to actually put into practice. But something I like here is like the team meeting habits, to understand just what your team is doing. And many of you on both sides, on the employee side and on the leadership side, it's just challenging to be able to convey, look, I was in 8 hours of meetings yesterday. That's actually not a joke. I was in 6 hours of meetings back to back yesterday and the day before, and I'm packed up today with meetings, and it's hard to get work done. And I don't need leadership to like know me specifically that happened, but it's important, I would think, for leaders to know if my team is supposed to be delivering work for clients, but they end up being in meetings all day and they're internal or not external, whatever, like, you know, I want to know these kind of things. But in your office portal, meetings were less than an hour, which is probably potentially sometimes a good thing. If you set up quiet hours, how are people actually using those quiet hours and using that focus time? And you can start to really get connected. I love the idea of staying connected. Now, this is actually for personal as well, but for managers, that the AI behind this is helping managers and leaders stay on top of their team, because it's hard for all of us to manage all of our tasks. So some really great stuff here. Viva Insights does cost money. Last I knew, it was about $4 per user per month. The way though that I'm really seeing, I'm not trying to sell you Viva, because that's not where that's not what we do. That's not where we make our income. But to me, the Viva story is going to be sold when you buy the bundle, where you get a much better price. But that's, you know, that's probably for not a lot of us to decide. That's management's decision. If you have those bigger bundles where you're able to get Viva Insights for leaders. I would highly recommend, if you're a leader, that you look into it. Otherwise, it's worth showing your management leadership. Find a project sponsor or some sort of sponsor within your org who can help promote that, and I think you'll get some good benefits out of it. Okay, number 2, Planner. Okay, so I'm actually going back to Viva on this one, because a Planner, a lot of us use it. To me, this is around productivity, automation, and again, the employee experience. The quick overview for those of you still new to Planner or haven't really touched it, Microsoft Planner, it's a project management software. It's been out for a while. Well, last year, 2022, it was integrated into Viva Goals. Now, I don't have Viva Goals in this particular session. I've talked about Viva Goals before. Personally, Viva Goals, I think, is going to be one of my big things in the community for 2023, because I believe it is a really solid goal-setting technique for an organization, and it's really cool. So this is around that productivity, that visibility, helping the different people within the organization agree with what output is looking like on a monthly, quarterly, yearly, however your cadence might be. And so that's what Viva Goals is all about. Well, Planner, now connected into Goals, can help set up the tasks that break down how you're going to be achieving success. And this ties directly into Viva Goals. So as you are working through your tasks within Planner, those can get automatically pushed into Viva Goals, which can help give you visibility in the success of you meeting the requests, requirements, the commitments, the scorecard that you have with your organization. Now, on my soapbox, I'm arguing that if I were to go to you, you were an employee of mine, and I give you 10 things to do this quarter, and you succeeded on those 10 things, and we agree that you met them, then you were productive. Now, it's not every manager, not every org, but I think that's a good way to look. And so Planner can help create some automation around Viva Goals to help set up tasks within what you're doing. Now, I also put in cost savings within Planner, because many of you might be using other project management software that may be costing a lot of extra money, but Planner's included in most M365 licenses. So if you need light project management, and so we at our org, we use DevOps, we use Jira, we use different tools to help with our big projects. But sometimes when we just need quick little reviews, we need quick buckets, we need quick ways to be able to track something small. Oh, we're going to Planner. We're not using the bigger expensive tools, because they're too much. They provide more than we need. And Planner is a wonderful tool that almost everyone in our org that I think of uses it in one way or another. And now that that's tied into Viva Goals, you can more easily automate the process of showing the productivity that you've got. So really, really cool stuff there that I hope a lot of you investigate more and look into some more. Okay, I've got one more on Forms. We're going to go into there'll be a demo after the next one. So Microsoft Forms, again, another one. This is another one I expect people to be using or at least touched, but I would use it more. There's a lot that you can do here. And where I come into this, how I look at this is about cost savings, about improving meetings, and again, around the employee experience. You're seeing a lot around employee experience, trying to help out the employees be just generally more productive and have more solid tools to work through. Okay, cost savings. Why cost savings? One of the things here on cost savings is because Forms, it has continued to improve in its ability. There used to be like Forms Pro or that beta thing, whatever, way back when, and a lot of that stuff made it into the free version of Forms. But if you're using polling software, such as like something like SurveyMonkey, Forms can really help. Now, don't tell Microsoft that I said this, but if you're looking at something like Glint or the, I just blanked on the Viva name for that. The ability to, within Viva, to be able to basically solicit employee feedback. Glint itself, when it came out, was not cheap, in my opinion, and considering the other Viva modules. Now, the price is all getting changed. I'm not a licensing expert. I'll let you all figure that out. But here's the thing. Do you always need a powerful tool to get pulses on your team? Maybe on your org, you want something bigger, but sometimes you want something simple of, when do you, we want to do a company lunch in the next 3 days. What day's best for you? We want to do a lunch and learn. Hey, we're going to have that, but this is not maybe a good example in today's hybrid world. Hey, we're having that company picnic what food are you looking to bring, or something like that. You can create these simple forms. You can also create quizzes, polls, as I just said, general surveys. Maybe you had a client project or something and you just want quick feedback as to how it went. Create a quick, simple form with Microsoft Forms. That doesn't take long, it takes minutes. It's already integrated into everything you're doing. It's just easy to use, easy to customize, very easy to share. You can also share it easily with your external customers as well, or the people that you work with externally. And it allows you to gather information so quickly and easily, again, all integrated with what you're doing, and you're already paying for it. So not only that though, so I talked about kind of these new updates when features that we had seen before that were more premium have made into the free tool. You can send your surveys out to people. You can gather data from a lot of respondents. The number I saw was 5 million. It's kind of big. Great way to get customer feedback in general. I mean, you don't need a lot of the more expensive tools to get quick information back from people, and that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, some other ones. Maybe you're a part of a smaller org and you're just trying to figure out who's looking for maybe a new HR benefit or something, or like who'd be interested in a new HR benefit. You just want to get a polling on it, on who's interested in things. Like, these are great ways to do it. Maybe a corporate comm wants to figure out how would it be best for we communicate with you, and you just want to send out a quick poll to people. You prefer email, Teams message? Do you want snail mail? Do you want us to call you? You know, you can get a quick poll on people and just have some really good feedback. That data can then be sent and moved around. Now, data within Forms is stored within Forms, but it's really easy to take that data, use something like Power Automate to go push that data into a SharePoint list or out into external data fields. It also integrates with Excel and Power BI, so you can get some data out of it. You can get some visualizations out of what's happening. It is really secure. They do have a lot of GDPR compliancy around it as well, because we know that's really important for many of you. Great, powerful tool. Highly recommend you put it as one of your habits on when you have an idea that needs feedback, you're looking for other people to contribute. Don't just send an email out saying, please reply all, or please do something. A form might take you just as long time to compose that email, and allows you to have a more structured way and a more robust way to get the information that you're looking for in a way that can be more quickly and easily evaluated. Cool. Number 4. Okay. Again, a lot of my apps here, I think you're already using. If you're not, if you are, my experience is that you're not using it to the full extent, which is really why I want to be pushing these things. So OneDrive, I have a lot to say about OneDrive. OneDrive is your cloud storage, your personal cloud storage. We'll leave it, we'll talk about just the basics for those of you who are new to OneDrive or haven't really heard about it too much. OneDrive is backed by SharePoint. Effectively, it's a UI on top of SharePoint, so it's the same basic infrastructure, which is going to become important because of the demo that I want to show you, which again, I'm not finding enough people using, which is why I want to talk about this. Here's the thing though about this. So OneDrive is included in your M365 license, your M365 license. You can get a free version for your own personal use within Windows, release Windows 11 now. But a lot of you are using other external tools for file sharing or for online cloud storage, such as a Box, or you're using Dropbox or Google Cloud or something. You're paying extra for that probably. It's already included in Microsoft. So pricing is huge. The security and encryption is really robust. The sharing is really solid. I admit that I found that Dropbox sharing sometimes can be just a little cleaner, but the sharing in OneDrive is extremely robust still. You can still do all the general kind of sharing that you want, but it's free. Now, I want to give you a couple of anecdotes though around OneDrive that have, well, one is a story for me and another one is a story that I heard that makes sense. So the story that I heard that made a lot of sense is the way that OneDrive is storing your data in the cloud. So as soon as you put all your data, as soon as you put data into OneDrive, and if you were to put all of your important data into OneDrive, that gets synced up into Microsoft in a safe and secure way. Let's say the near worst happens. I don't know, it could be worse than this. Maybe your whole laptop gets destroyed or something, but you get hit by ransomware. All the files on your computer get locked up. What happens on the Microsoft side when that happens is they're storing a history of what you're doing. So when all of the data in OneDrive, when that gets locked or gets encrypted so you can't use it. That's not true. OneDrive stored the version just prior to all of that. So it makes it pretty easy, seamless, shall we say, to go get your data back. So your laptop gets hit, your workstation gets hit by ransomware. We all know you basically have to pull that hard drive out and start over, maybe even your computer, depending on how bad it was. You pop that new hard drive in, you get that new laptop from IT, whatever, and you just sync back in your OneDrive. You get able to go back that version, boom, you get it all back. What could be months of awfulness could really just be, it's a little more than a minor inconvenience because ransomware is never a good thing, but I mean, it's not that bad. Now, personally, how I've experienced the power of OneDrive, and this is similar potentially to a lot of you, is all of my important data is in OneDrive. It was in OneDrive or SharePoint, and I'll admit that, but that's because it's my data or client data or company data. But when I've switched profiles within my workstation, when I've got new workstations, this used to be a multi-day ordeal of copying file, moving everything over. Nowadays, I basically just make sure my old workstation is properly synced up, which it most likely is. In worst case, I might only lose a few files, but OneDrive keeps synced data really, really, really good. I set up my new workstation. I get logged into my 365 account. My OneDrive's there. I move on with my day's work. I lose maybe an hour or two of just getting some software installed on my new workstation, but my terabytes of data, no joke, I'm hitting over a terabyte of data, is in the cloud and it's stored there. And it makes this ability to move to new workstations. When I did a presentation years ago and my laptop died right before it happened. So I had to borrow someone's laptop. I didn't sync to OneDrive on that case, but I went into my OneDrive, pulled the slide deck. Within about 3 minutes, I was up again running. I didn't have my demos per se set up easily well, but like there's the power of the cloud. OneDrive is able to be there. You're already paying for it. It's super cool. Now, the one thing I wanted to demo here that I find a lot of you aren't using is my tricks around syncing. OneDrive SharePoint allows us to co-author documents really, really well. Another reason why basically everything should be in your OneDrive, including your personal data should be, in my opinion, should be in your personal OneDrive, not your corporate OneDrive, because most companies own data that's in your company account stuff. So it'll always be, that's between you and your company. But if everything's in your OneDrive, your cloud storage, and SharePoint, whatever, it's just so easy to go work with and to co-author. All right, but one of the productivity tips that I really have that I like is around syncing and selective syncing. So let's go ahead and go look at that. And what do I mean by that? Okay, so we're looking at my OneDrive. This is one of my personal OneDrives. And then another thing I can go look at is, let's say Teams. So I'm in a team and I go into this general tab, I go into files, and I have all of these files here. I want to work with these files. Now, on my workstation, my primary workstation, I have found that opening these files in the actual application is easier for me or better. So if I have an E3 license and I actually have Office desktop or Outlook or Word desktop, etc., I'd like to work with it on my computer. Same with my OneDrive, same idea. And so there's this sync button. Some of you I found just don't know what this is. I bet a lot of you do, but I still have some more tricks for you. We also have the sync here. My OneDrive, I click sync and it starts syncing the data to my computer, which we're gonna see here. This is on my local workstation and I have the files here. I'm gonna get to this little icon, this little icon here in a second. One of my tips in Teams that I think is really useful is when I'm in a channel, I might not want the files just for this channel. I want them for everything within the team. And I want to be able to selectively work the files I work with. So if you go ahead and you open this in SharePoint, you're dumped into the document library within SharePoint. And if you click on the documents link right here, you get to the next level up and all of your files within all of your channels within a team all live within this document library. You can see them all here. If you wanted to sync this, sync at this level. One of my reasons why is because if you were to sync each channel, which you can, each channel will create its own root folder within your computer, which I find to be kind of annoying. And oftentimes I need a lot of the files, or I want to work with a lot of the files within a given team anyhow. Therefore, I sync from SharePoint at the root of the team. You can also sync just standard document libraries within SharePoint as well, of course. The thing I wanted to then show you about was this idea of selective sync. So if we were to look at this folder that we're looking at the root of it, and we're to look to see how much data is actually on my computer, you're gonna find that the amount of data on my computer is effectively nothing. It's a couple of bytes. It's that notebook. All of the other files that you see here, in particular, say this like book dot the Excel book, is not on my computer right now. I can see it, but it's not on my computer yet. Okay, well, I can either open it. I just can click on and open it. Another thing I could do is go down to I'm on Windows 11, so see more options. I go into, where did it just go? I do not have the syncing on. It's right here. There's supposed to be, and it might be that because this is a test tenant that I have. It's yeah, I tested this before. It was right there. The ability to make sure that this file or any file or a folder is always on my device, always on my device. But then once it's on my device, I can then go ahead and remove it from my device. So I could basically just say, I don't need it anymore. So here, I downloaded it. Now let's say I'm going to go onto an airplane or I'm going to go travel and I'm not going to have internet. As long as the file is here, it's now on my computer, I don't need to be online. As soon as I come back online, the sync will automatically resync it back up into my OneDrive or into SharePoint, allow me for that co-authoring. Now, there we go, now it's here. I can free up space, so you can see these options right here. So I can free up the space if I don't want it anymore. And what that does is it leaves the file in the cloud. It just removes the file from my computer, so I don't need it. So this is how my personal business OneDrive has about 1 terabyte of data. I am not keeping 1 terabyte of data on my computer. I don't need to, but I would like to be able to see that it's within OneDrive, and if I need a given file, I can go and get it. So selective sync, super useful. I highly recommend you use it. I personally like having the data within Explorer because then I don't have to go into SharePoint, I don't have to go into Teams, I don't have to go into to OneDrive online. I can go into the file structure within my computer, see what I want, and then I also have offline access to that as well. All right, the last app that I want to talk about here is Power BI. This one is around productivity and automation. This is an interesting one for me, and the reason why is because it's free, but a lot of the power you're going to get is paid. So why am I still promoting this? Well, the reason why is because we've seen throughout the recent digital transformation that those that were able to successfully adapt to that digital transformation were able to succeed a little better here. And a lot of this is around data. They were able to understand and utilize data, and data is what empowers the analytical, to be able to understand what's going on and to be able to react to it and be able to get the insights and that predictive power to predict the future and to plan ahead. And that's where Power BI really fits in. Power BI is going to help you or help your leadership work with the data across so many things. I mean, you can get a lot of within the SharePoint world, you can get SharePoint utilization data in Power BI so you can understand who's using what kind of, who's using SharePoint throughout your site and whatnot. You can take these Power BI reports, put them into Excel, put them into Outlook, work with them within the apps that you use. There's really just a lot here. And if you need data visualizations, to me, Power BI is where you start. How I start with this, how I suggest clients work with this is Power BI there's a freemium version based within your M365 license most likely. Start to work with that, and then the people that need the data, those would be the ones that you'd be assigning those licenses to build the dashboards, to build the reports, to get the visualizations that they need, to be able to then augment that, to discover new information, to get the patterns out of the data, to be able to help make better business decisions. So there are full-day workshops on Power BI, but I do want to continue to promote it because, again, I've still not seen a lot of people use it, and there's some huge converts, but there's also a bunch of people who don't quite use it enough. All right, we're doing okay. I've got 5 more things. So what I want to move into now is not look necessarily at apps, but look at features within apps that can help you be more successful. So I've got some automation and I've got some tips. I'm going to start with tips. I'm going to go into automation. I'm going to go back into some tips. Let's have some fun. Okay, this is a favorite tool of mine. This is good, Speaker Coach. Now, there's actually 2 pieces of here that I want to talk about, but this is around effective meetings and around the employee experience. Now, speaker coach itself is more the term that's used for teams. So this means for anybody that's running a meeting in Teams, this is something that you can do to help you be an effective communicator within Teams, which my experience is every single one of you. You've all been involved in meetings. If you're within Teams having those meetings, there's a tool to help you become a more effective communicator. PowerPoint has something as well. PowerPoint has a rehearse with coach, which is very similar to speaker coach. Kind of, I think, is using the same AI, but it's a different output. I'm going to show you the output of both PowerPoint and Teams that I got when I was practicing and rehearsing for this particular session. So that could be interesting for you. So let's start with Teams. Within Teams, you have this idea of this private coach. It's basically giving you real-time, but more like post-meeting information as to how you were communicating within the meeting. Things that speaker coach in Teams is evaluating is your pacing. The pacing is somewhere around like 90 to 120 words a minute is sort of what's expected. And you'll see I speak fast. According to the speaker coach, I actually am kind of at the upper range of what's good, so that's good. Your general pitch, how many filter words you use, the ums and the ands and the uhs and those kind of things. The informal speech you may be using, how many euphemisms you might be using, and if you're using culturally insensitive and sensitive terms and how you're doing there. Pretty cool, the feedback you get. Some caveats. So the way this works is when you have a meeting, basically it's a scheduled meeting that is not a meet now. So if you go into your calendar, you go into Teams, you click meet now, you can't do it there. And you cannot do it in a channel meeting. Now, I don't even know if I can say yet, because I actually don't know. Is this coming to those soon? I do not know. So I would hope they do. But right now, if you schedule a meeting, you can have meeting coach. And basically what you do when the meeting starts is you can go into the options, the 3 dots, go into the meeting settings, and you can see there an ability to turn on speaker coach. And basically that's for you. It's for you to get results. And you'll see what that looks like here in a second. I wanted to be able to show you that. What I wanted to do is do this webinar with Teams running live. Well, I really couldn't because Teams running didn't work because I wanted to have the audio shared by both. I couldn't get it set up right. So I basically then just did this in Teams and I got the review from it. And it was super cool. Now in PowerPoint, there's an ability, as I said, to do this thing called rehearse with coach. And so as I was practicing this to make sure that I could be successful for you all, in the slideshow ribbon, there's a rehearse with coach. And effectively, and you can turn on a live response. So it gives you a live updates as to how you're doing, but then it also tells you at the end, here's how you did overall. What I find fascinating about it is kind of disappointing was I would love to have turned that on for you now so we could have seen how I was doing. You can't. It's rehearse with coach. And the other thing I found is it doesn't give you the presentation view the way I would have wanted it. So maybe there's a way I missed how to turn it on, but I haven't found it yet. So there's some caveats to it, but it's great to, if you are a presenter and you want to learn how to become a better presenter within PowerPoint, let's say, there's this rehearse with coach feature that is really cool. So with that, I want to kind of show you here. My demo is effectively, what does this look like? What's the output look like? So I had a meeting. You can see it ran about 59 minutes, which is pretty good. And it's about what I was looking for about an hour to go over the slide deck. And once I was done with that Teams meeting where I presented this material, it came back with some results and events. And what I couldn't do easily to show you here is I would love to have been able to click into this report, but it was really hard for me to do it. So I'm just giving you the screenshot. But it tells me about like repetitive language. You can see I did that a lot. You might be seeing that now. The filter words that I use, my pace was right in the middle, was a little too much. Now the monologue only having 2 was, I was having a discussion when I was doing this presentation. So that's why the monologue wasn't too bad. Here, if I was doing it, the monologue is big, like, red flag, what are you doing? But I could then drill into each of those events. If you clicked on any of the purple headings on the left or purple bluish headings on the left, it would then filter out and show you on your timeline when those occurred, and you could dig into that data so you can understand more about how to be an effective speaker within the context of a Teams meeting. And again, that's all of you, most likely. Now within PowerPoint, what was happening here was this is when I was rehearsing this within PowerPoint. So I turned on the rehearse with coach. And what I got out of it was the time that I spent on it, the slides that I rehearsed through, my pace, which, I said was good. It kind of gave me my average pace over time. Okay, so averaging somewhere, I guess, about 150 words a minute. Am I doing that now? Probably. You can see the filter words that I use, and it helps you understand not the greatest depth, but there's good views here of how are you doing. And I'm on the kind of the upper range of my speed. It'd probably be better if I would slow down and be 100. And those of you know me, I get all excited about this stuff. I just love it too much. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So that's Speaker Coach and PowerPoint Coach. I have found a lot of you are not using that. When you're doing meetings and teams, to me, it's a no-brainer. Just turn it on and you'll start to get a history over time. And it's generally helpful, and it's really private data. It's your own stuff. It doesn't get sent out. It doesn't really get transmitted to anybody. So it's just for you. And then PowerPoint Coach, the rehearsal coach, is only for PowerPoint users. So if you're not using PowerPoint, not helpful, of course. But if you're doing PowerPoint presentations and you ever practice, then rehearsal coach. It's a no-brainer, because again, this is just my data. This was a screenshot that showed up afterwards for me. So I'm not, it's nothing to be embarrassed about per se for yourself, right? You don't have to share with anybody, but it can help you become a better presenter. Okay, now this is one of my favorite tools. If I could have personally started on my own, I would have started with FindTime, but I wanted to build a better story for you all. FindTime, we're gonna get into this, no worries. I have a demo because this one I love. This is shortcuts, effective meetings, productivity, and the employee experience. Okay, FindTime, it's an Outlook plugin. So it does require Outlook. It's for Outlook. It's for Outlook. It helps with scheduling. Now, all of us, I found, have problems with scheduling meetings. And when are you free? And you're talking to 5 people over emails or calling, and no one knows. Well, let me check my calendar, and it's really frustrating. And then you start to get weird threads, and it just someone then throws something on the calendar, and it doesn't work. And my org is just as guilty of this. We still do it too, and it's hard. It's hard to get into the habit of using FindTime every time. But it's an Outlook plugin that helps people reach consensus on finding times for a meeting, and that's huge. It allows for one or more attendees to be able to then vote. So when you set up the FindTime for the meeting, you select one or more times that the AI has determined that more likely, or especially within your org where people's calendars show they're available, you can then FindTime that automatically sends out emails to everybody that asks them to vote on the times that they would prefer. Once the consensus has been had, the system automatically goes and schedules it for everybody, sends it out, shows up on Outlook, shows up on your calendar. It's just so cool. I'm sorry, but this one, too many of you, we need to use. So let's go ahead, and I want to show you a demo of this one because it's just too important. Where you're going to find this is there's a couple ways. One is just Google FindTime or Outlook for FindTime for Outlook. You can download an app and get it all running. The easier way that I have found to do this is within Outlook itself. If you go into, I'm just in Outlook Online or Exchange Online, I'm on Outlook. There's this get icon, get add-ins, and if you search for FindTime, I can spell FindTime. It shows right up. It's been out for a long time. Microsoft releases it. You can see I've already added it, but as soon as I add it, it just shows up. So here's the big power of it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new email. I'm going to send it to a few people. I'm going to skip all the rest for now. As soon as you add FindTime, it shows up here. What's cool is I have found, it should be the same for you. As soon as you add it to Outlook Online, it shows up in your Outlook desktop. Love that. Because now it's everywhere I go. Anytime I need to set up a workstation, I have this here. But once you click into the body, if you click on schedule polling, it shows up all of the times that would be best available based on the date. So I know that we really want to meet on the 30th. It automatically is showing me what are some suggested times to do this, or what are times where that people are tentative based on what I selected. And then you can select the times you want. You just send that out and set up as I want as a team meeting. I create the poll. This goes out automatically emailed to everybody. People are going to get an email very similar to you just saw from me They can then vote on it. They can then see how I can see how people are doing on this. And then once a consensus is reached, it is automatically or can automatically be scheduled in. So once 3 people agree on one of them, boom, you're done with this particular case. Very useful tool. So easy. I just showed you all the good power of it, but all of us need to schedule meetings, it seems. Do it. Okay, my last 3 in the 10 minutes that I have left with you. So I've got 2 on Power Automate, and then I have another one on Power Apps that I just find useful. And how I'm going to do this is I've got 2 on Power Automate. I want to give you 2 stories, and then we'll go look at them to kind of set them up. And then the last one is on Power Automate. It's a tool I want to show you that has saved our team many, many times. Those of you who've already worked with us, you've often seen the output of this Power Automate Power app that we use. Power Automate, just so of you who are new to it, and some of you said it's one of the more weaker tools that you've got experience with. Power Automate is about automation. It's helping you build automated. Well, it helps you. How do I word this? If you have repetitive tasks that you want to just have automatically generated or automatically kicked off, it helps you create those automations. The easiest way to put it. There's Power Automate and there's Power Automate Premium or Premium connectors that cost money. For free, included in most of your licenses is individuals can easily create workflows that are called flows that tie into your M365 data. So one of them, my favorite one, is around automating email. Is around automating the moving of email. Now, what I mean by this, like an easy example is every time an email comes in from a support email, let's say that I have, I want it automatically moved to a specific folder for me. So it doesn't just go dumped into my inbox, but it gets pushed into a support email. Anytime an email comes in from my boss, I want it to go into my boss's folder. I still want it to be considered, unread. So I now know, oh, I might have something I need to deal with, rather than the deluge of my inbox and I have to hunt and peck through it. So as emails come in, I automatically want things moved, messages moved, dependent upon who it came in from, something that was in the subject line, any data within the email, Power Automate can get into and can help then route the email, move it to where you may want it to be processed. There are easy ways to create this. I'm going to show you. You can use templates, you can tweak a template, you can create your own from scratch. It is just really a great way to move email, but you can then also extend it. So let's say you're managing an email, or you've got emails that come in, say from clients, and you want certain emails in certain ways from clients to be actually just automatically pushed into a Teams channel. Yep, you can do that through automation. So as it comes in, you don't even have to see it. You don't have to set up rules in Outlook. It happens before it gets to you. When the email comes in, it is handled and automatically routed, pushed. Maybe a Teams channel message is automatically created because it came in a certain way, and it needs to be dealt with by a team. You push it right in. Awesome. Very, very cool tool. Another one around here is saving attachments, email attachments directly to your OneDrive. So many email attachments just get lost. They come in, you forget where they are, you don't know where they are. You can easily set up a flow that will take any attachment and dump it into your personal or your OneDrive, your corporate personal OneDrive, and you can decide what folder you want it in. You could also filter out that only emails that come in a certain way from a certain person, a certain group, certain people, or have certain subject messages. Go ahead and automatically move those files into a OneDrive folder. I want to show you this quickly in the time that I have, in general, how to set something like this up, and then you can dig into more data from there. So I'm going into Power Automate. If you don't know what this is, just Google Power Automate it, or you can get it from the waffle in your OneDrive in your Office portal. It does just take you to the maker, the Power Automate maker. Within this, you can go ahead and create a flow, and what I'm going to be looking for, I might start with a template, and I want to move off email to folder. Let's see if that one did. Yeah, there we go. So, I just typed in kind of a guess. Forward emails with or without an attachment. There is another one here, which I was looking for, which was, I wanted to, this one, the move email to selected folder. What it does is it's basically telling you it needs permissions to be able to talk to your Outlook, which of course, if I'm creating it, I already do it. And look at what happens here. So when new email arrives, it can go ahead and I can say, well, I want it to see if it arrives from you know, boss@me.com or something, you know, from whoever. Then you can do something like if you wanted to check who the email is, if it has a certain email subject or whatnot, you can add that as well. But what you can then do, and this is a template, right? So I can add all of my rules. Those you new to Power Automate, you can add all these other actions. You can just completely maneuver and play with this and have this and go into a Teams channel very easily. But what I like is this move email. You click on this little folder icon, and yeah, there we go. It automatically synced into my Outlook, so it knows the folders that I have. And so I can say, oh, well, you know, well, it's for my boss, just throw it in the junk mail. And it automatically is set up. So I get this template to get started. I don't have to know how to do this to get started. I can use, there are thousands of, hundreds at least, of templates. You can use these templates to get started, and these are your copy of the template. You can now do whatever you want with it. Same thing with the OneDrive. Let's do that one. We saw that as well. Move email attachment. If I can spell attachment. Save attachment to OneDrive into, oh, this was a shared mailbox actually. That's fine. I don't really need to do a shared mailbox. I want to do the folder. Move email attachment. Save attachment. Move emails with attachment. Oh, there was one. Doesn't matter. Whoops. Well, it's the same basic idea where you have a template. Oh yeah, I'm running out of time. Where you have a template, a Power Automate template you can have. It automatically ties in, says if there's an email attachment. Go ahead and save it to your OneDrive. You just tell it what folder in your OneDrive it wants. You'd have that same little folder icon. You click it. It shows you your folders in OneDrive. I mean, it's just super powerful, super cool. In your organization of 10,000 people, all 10,000 you can have this all already included in your licensing. Okay, the last one I want to show, and I really run out of time, so I'm going to have to be super quick. This one is about capturing meeting notes that so many of us have to do. Automation, improve meetings, shortcuts, productivity, employee experience. There is a Power app for free called Meeting Capture. That's the big buzzword I want you to use. And I'm going to skip straight to this because I want to show you in the 2 minutes I have left what this looks like and how you're going to get to this. In Power Automate, I wanted to go to Power Apps. Power Apps. If you go into Community, Galleries, I could have actually searched for it there. I search for Meeting Capture V2. I follow the instructions to download this and use it. What then happens if I can now go to my Power Apps? I believe I've already installed it. You can then have this as a Power app, and this is so cool for free, the whole thing. You don't have to even touch it. It automatically is synced into my OneDrive, knows the things in the meetings I'm doing. As soon as I say, yeah, this is the meeting I want to work with, I start the meeting within this, and I have all of the attendees who are in the meeting according to OneDrive. I can take notes. I could go in and I have a whiteboard that I can have. I can screenshot it all out. When I'm done with the meeting and I finish and save it, it automatically can go and push all this data out to everybody. It can get pushed into a Teams channel. Very cool, powerful tool. With the 1 minute I have left, sorry, Michael, we have resources that will be sent out to you all. It is a lot of data that helps support what I just did. In the interest of time, Michael, I'm going to send this back to you. We've got about a half a minute left. Tell us about our survey or our
yeah,
survey, please.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Eric. Great run through all those hidden gems in Microsoft 365. So that resource handout Eric was talking about, that is going to be in the handout section of GoToWebinar. You should be able to grab that now. And then I mentioned a survey in the beginning. So if you follow the link or the QR code, take you to a survey to ask you a couple questions about the Pixelma webinar series. We are a We like to always be bettering ourselves, know what we can be improving on. Maybe there's a topic you all want to hear about. Let us know about it. We want to know. That's what this survey is all about. And if you enter the survey, you are entered to win a $50 Amazon gift card. We've been doing it for a while. Lots of fun winners. I see a couple of past winners in our session today. But speaking of which, we've got to do our poll from last month. So we're going to be shaking up the names here as we're going along. We're going to see who entered last month and who's winning this time. All right, make sure I can't see it. There we go. Winner from last month is Chris Harriet. Chris Harriet, you are the winner. I don't remember if I saw you on there, but you are the winner. I'll be reaching out to you shortly to get you your Amazon gift card going. Congratulations, Chris Harriet, for winning. I guess this would have been the December one for last year. So with that, I didn't see any questions come in, which is great because we're right on time. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Eric, thank you so much for going through all these hidden gems of the Microsoft 365 scope. Universe, whatever you want to call it. Always great to have you on here. Everyone, thank you so much for spending your Thursday morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are with us. Always great to have you guys. We will have information about our next session coming up soon. Keep an eye out for that. And with that, again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We will see you all down the road. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye, all.